Hi, and welcome back. Today, I think is going to be a polymer clay day. I had an urge to make one of the dragon bookmarks that I like to make, and I have 3 examples here in front of me. The one in the middle, this purple and teal one with some cream, isn't strung, but you can see there's a big hole that goes where the wing curves over. There's actually 2. There's the big one that goes through the wing, and then there's like a tube one here that could actually be strung through, and whichever way. And then that's the dragon face there. And then his body wraps around and he's holding on to a stone that's kind of the same color as him. And his tail comes up around and curls under his head. And there's his wing. And these are kind of a la Christy Friesen. She does a lot of style like this, where she does little pieces of polymer and little strips of polymer and creates little fantasy creatures. And then I have, and you can see this is a bookmark because I beaded, let me see if I can get my hand out of the way. I beaded through here. So here's the tail of the ribbon on this side of my dragon with a couple of bells, because I like to put bells on everything. And then here's 2 strands of ribbon, a purple one and kind of a champagne colored one. And then a little bit twisted. Then there's just stones, little gemstones beaded on the ends of the ribbon. And this is what this little dragon looks like. You can see his eye, her eyes, because she looks more like a her to me. And then she's holding on to a rose quartz donut. And you can see her tail wraps around it here and then comes up around under her chin. And there's her wing. And that's the bottom side. You can see the wing, the other wing is right there. And there's the tails to the bookmark ribbons. So she would go in a book over the top of the binding, and then these ribbons would mark your place in whatever book. And then here's the last example. She's kind of a pretty mellow one, holding on to a piece of turquoise. And same deal, here's the ends of the ribbon and some bells. And this has two different shades of blue satin ribbon. And it was probably ombre ribbon. And it's got little beaded ends on the ribbon, and eyes are there. And there's the back wing and the front wing. And this might be, I haven't made one of these in a while, so it might be a bit of a challenge for me right now. But I did find this kind of, it's glass, and it's a cut glass bead. And Christy Friesen, when she does her sculpting, when she adds beads or other findings, I don't always do this myself, but I have some green floral wire. You can use any wire you have. This just happens to be the first thing of wire I came to. She'll wire the beads and then help to affix the beads to the polymer clay by embedding it with wire, which is a good idea. I also wanted to show you, before I start on my sculpt, some other dragons that I've sculpted. This is one that's holding on to a long rectangular stone. You can see, kind of looks like Godzilla. And then this one I have, I think on my blog, on my Facebook page is a picture of this one, and these are horns, and his wings are kind of laying down along his body. And his head is here at the top of this piece. And this is actually a polymer clay cabochon that I made. And that's his tail and his feet. And he's on a bail that can either be hung as a necklace, or it slides onto the pin back and can come off the pin back and just be worn as a brooch. I really like this one. And then I have this little purple one who's holding on to another polymer clay cabochon, and he's wired. I did some wire wrapping and wrapped this cabochon, and then I sculpted the dragon over the wiring, which I had a good time doing that. That was a lot of fun. And so, let's see, I have some clay out. My clay, I have a lot of clay, but it's all pretty old, so I'm actually considering getting rid of it all and getting some new clay, because this is just getting to be too hard to work with. So, note to self, if you buy clay, you should probably use it. I mean, it might be better once my house warms up, but it's hard to work with. So I've got silver, and I think this is like a glow-in-the-dark. And then this is a champagne color, kind of a light coppery champagne color. And then I have a royal purple. And this color is kind of hard, so this one may be mostly for accent. And then I have a piece of white that's also kind of hard, that may also just be for accent. And I have a baby wipe and my paper towel. I think the first thing I'm going to do, so I put my clay back on my little cup warmer, is cut some wire to put through this bead. So I just need my cutters, and I'm just going to take a length of wire, and I'm going to put it, it has to be wire that's going to fit through the holes of your beads, or it's not going to matter that you have wire. And then all I'm going to do is take some round nose pliers and kind of curl this up just to make a bulky piece that can go into the side of the dragon coil. And these dragons are pretty much just snakes that get coiled up, and then I sculpt a little bit of a face into. All I'm doing now is kind of squishing that loop down so that I can get it to go into the clay. Putting all my ends together, making it a little bulky, because the object is just to have something that will go into the clay, that the clay, as it bakes, will harden around and become one, so that the bead doesn't pull back out. And you can see this is nothing pretty. I would probably take more time if I wasn't trying to rush to show you how I do this. Let's see, I think this dragon's going to be silver maybe, and purple. So I'm just making a snake. Actually, I'm going to condition this a little bit before I make a snake. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a big snake. I don't want it to be too thin because I'm still going to roll it some more. And then I'm going to take this purple and just take a little bit because it's a darker color. And I'm going to condition it a little bit. And I just want a little bit of it left for decoration too. And I want to make them about the same length. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. And they're certainly not the same diameter, but that's okay too. I'm just going to roll them together like this. Okay, and then I'm going to twist, because I like that twisty, marbly kind of effect. And you can do it, you can lay it down and just, you know, spin it. This is my marble, remember? Or my piece of tile anyway. I don't know that it's marble, but... And this is... Okay, get this out of the way. Right, notice I just mushed it up after doing all that rolling. I'm just trying to marble it a little bit, make it kind of blendy. You can do a dragon with any color. Dragons are in all shapes, sizes, and colors. This one I do want to make a little bit stripy, so she'll be fun. I'm going to break a piece off because I need more. I need some for the wings. I think this looks like a good dragon one, so I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to pull this apart. This is going to be kind of a small one. You can make them big. I think those are, you know, kind of medium-sized, although for a bookmark they're probably as big as I would go to hang off the back of a book. Okay, so here is a couple of discs to start for wings. And with that, I'm going to take a piece of the purple and a piece of the white, which I've been trying to re-soften. So it's a little messy because I did put softening. This Sculpey, what's it, clay softener, which is nasty because then it makes it all gooey and it gets on your hands. Not my favorite thing. Okay, so, and for a penny, I guess we'll make a mess. Okay, so there is purple and white. And all I'm going to do is take my needle tool, which is really old and grungy. And I'm going to take this purple and white piece and I'm going to roll it into a little cylinder. Kind of a 2 bead shape. And yes, it's, you know, it's probably 1/4 of an inch wide, maybe a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch tall. And I'm just, you know, you just kind of guesstimate. So I just pierced it down the center. I'm going to roll it a little bit like this just to get the hole started, because I really want this hole to be kind of big, because I will want to thread my ribbon through it. Don't want it to be too big because I do want the knot to stop it. Okay, so now I've got the handle of the tool going through and I'm just kind of making it kind of uniform. So now this is a purple. Kind of looks lavender now with the purple that's kind of smeared into the white, but it doesn't matter because it's not really going to show. Let me wipe my hands off. So I'm going to set that aside because that's the tube that, let me see the unthreaded one. That's the tube bead that's down inside. It's down inside the wing right here. Okay, it's the part, see where you are, that the ribbon is going to thread through. Set that aside. Now, I really don't know what happened to my acrylic roller, so I'm just going to use the end of my tool. And I'm just going to make this kind of an elongated oval type of a shape. It's going to be a wing, so it probably doesn't really matter. Right now I'm going into my toolbox because I want a blade to get this off my marble. Okay, so there's one wing. And I will just take my same tool and these don't have to be the same size because they're actually, the front one, the back one, and this one kind of folds under a little bit because we're covering that tube bead with the wing. And these wings will become thicker because we're going to decorate them. So there's another wing, and I'll move this wing back over by it. So you can see they're about the same size, but not exact, which sometimes the best part of being creative is, you know, winging it and having fun. So let me turn that over. You notice this is the side that I was rolling on, and the silver flecks are very dominant on this side. And you turn it over, and while the silver flecks are still there, you see a purple pattern on this side. And I think I like that purple swirly. Well, I like both sides. So we're going to see what happens. Okay. Now I've got to get the shape for the dragon to work. And actually, while sitting aside, this tile is kind of on the cool side, so it'll help me be able to work a little bit easier with my wings when I come to actually using them. Okay, so you can see that my dragons are basically an infinity symbol. The head starts here, the tail comes up and around and goes back under. So it's kind of an infinity symbol. So this bead is going to sit right in here somehow. I think this wire is a little too big. I think I got to cut some of it off. A little too chunky. And to be honest, I don't usually put wire in it. Those are just being held on by the polymer clay. Okay. This should be better. So I've got to figure out how far I need. Well, one thing I've got to figure out is if this is actually even big enough to do what I want it to do. And I think I need it to be a little bit longer. So we go back, and I don't mind if it undulates a little bit. You know, I want the head to be wide enough that I can make a face in there. But the body can be, you know, fatter and skinnier at different points. So basically what I want to do is get this tail to come up like this and wrap underneath. So I want to do like a little curl right there for this head to rest on. And then that's all that looks like. Might want to push that out just a little bit more so that it comes out that way. And then this is the body part where this bead is going to sit. So let me put this in here. Let me try to put this in here. I have to pick it up a little bit because I have to pull it around the wire on this side. It doesn't matter if it shows because I am going to decorate this little beast too. And it will get bigger as you add clay to it. For now, this is just the frame. This is the head. And this is the body and the tail. It's pretty simple. It's just a snake. Let me get my blade. And that's what it looks like so far. Now this is looking way too big, but that's okay because it's going to sit here. And then we're going to have a wing that comes up here. And then this wing, actually, I think I'm going to have that part facing up, is going to sit there. So here's this one. There's the bead. There's the back wing. And there's the front wing. And you know what? I should have been doing this on one of my white tiles so that I could pick it up and show it to you. Of course, white tile is relative because none of my tiles are really white anymore. They've been used a lot. Let me just pick it all up if I can. Move it onto my tile. Okay, so here's the front part of that dragon. Here's the stone is in, and here are the wings started. So you see that big bead down in there? Well, this wing has got to lift up a little bit and come in under. And then this wing sits out like that. At least that's how I like it. You can do them any way you like. That's the beauty of it. Okay? And I brought these clear beads in. They're the iris bubbles that I get from One of a Kind Artist Emporium from Judy. I love these for eyes. I have darker ones that I've shown before that, oh, hang on, my clock's gonna chime. All right, I'm back. Clock's done. I went and I got my darker ones because I was afraid the clear ones would get lost. So those are the no-hole beads that I use for eyes, for these type of things. And all I'm going to do is take my needle tool, see where I would want the eye to be, and I'm going to make kind of an eye type of a opening. And I might make the other side at the same time. Okay. So there's the hole. And then I'm just going to take the beads and I will put them in the openings that I made. So there's one eye. And there's his other eye. And let's see. I'm going to take, and I'm going to put just a little slit where his mouth would be, just so I can build up his head. And with that being said, I think this dragon going to start with the purple. Now one thing dragons need, at least this dragon needs, is more of a forehead. So he's going to need something up here. And it needs to come out. Well, let me take that back. It needs to come out. He needs to make like an overhang above his eye. So first let me put those on. Trying to keep it where you can see it. Oops, be careful with the blade. I just picked it up upside down. No harm. Okay, whoop. So then over here, I'm just going to put this over his eye, like that. And now I have to turn it around just so I can, okay, it's a little bit too far forward. There. Okay. Now, on the top of his head, I'm going to get a little silver to go with the purple. I am going to put, I'm going to make, well, first I have to put this to marble a little bit. So I'm just rolling it around. I have like this football shape, and I'm just making it so it looks flat. And then I'm going to put it right above his head, right here. And he needs nostrils. I'm going to do them in silver. So all I'm going to do is take little tiny balls of silver clay, and I'm going to put them up here towards the front of his head, top of his mouth, right there, as a matter of fact. And then I'm going to take my needle tool. Let me put my magnifying visor on so I can see. And then I'm going to take my needle tool and I'm just going to put it, I have to set it down, sorry. Just going to put it here and I'm going to pull up. And it's just, okay. We are going to see how this goes, because right now I'm not so sure I like what's happening with this dragon. But he's a long ways from finished. I'm going to elongate his snout just a little. Get my fingers in there and pull. I'm going to give him kind of a bird beak. Okay. I'm going to do the snout again. Okay. 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 Now, what you do is you start using little bits of clay, rolling little rice shapes or pointy shapes, and just laying them on the dragon like that. And that starts he didn't look so crooked. You know what I forgot to do with the eyes? Well, they'll be okay. I'm not very talkative when I'm doing this because I'm really trying to concentrate. So it doesn't look too terrible. So what I'm doing is I'm hooking it on and then I'm pulling it out a little bit just so it looks kind of long and pointy. This kind of looks more like a, I don't know what. Now, know that if you make these stand up too high, they do just break off. There's really, you know, if you don't put wire in everything and really hook it on, it's not going to do so well. I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take another color. I'm going to take this kind of magenta, pinky purple color. And I'm just going to make some little balls. And get it to come off my hands. I actually may take some more of the silver and kind of pump the body up a little too. But right now I want to take these and I just want to show you that you kind of put the balls on the clay and then you take your tool and you make it like a little donut, and that makes a little bit of a decoration in the clay. And you make different sizes and configurations, and then we're going to go back to the long rice shapes and make some more feathery wing type things that go up the wings like that. I like this one. So, and that's pretty much what this is. Now I will show you because I am going to bulk the body up a little. I'm going to take some silver and I'm going to take some of this pink color this time and maybe a little bit of the champagne copper color, and I'm going to mix it all together to make it interesting. I'm going to roll it into a snake, and then I'm going to add it to this creature just to pump it up. So I'm going to add it, well, maybe I won't. I'm trying to figure out how it would work the best. Maybe it's too much. I just want to bring it up like this and maybe over it. Because who's to say, you know, it's my dragon. And I am going to cover it with rice shapes and feather shapes and stuff. Now I just have to lift them up off my tile again because I want to get some of this around on this side, but I need it to be longer. I'm going to go a little bit further with this, and then I am going to turn the camera off, and I'm going to finish my dragon. Well, not finish it, but I'll get as much of the decoration on it as I can. And then I will come back and show it to you. Then I'm going to bake it, and then I will come back and patina it, because every good dragon needs patina. So here, I'll put this here, and it can come around like this. Remember, all the joins can be hidden with, oops, I don't want to do that, with more clay. I'm going to do some more of this color combination. You don't want any of the champagne color in the wings, at least I don't think I do, not right now. Might add some of the feather colors with the champagne, some of the strips. Right now I'm going to bulk up the tail. So now I want this to be a little bit thinner because I don't want the tail to be bigger than the head. So I'm going to bring this from underneath the dragon, right about there. And then I'm going to pull, this is kind of still too big. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to roll it right here on my tile. See, I told you I do this all by the seat of my pants. I always have, always will. Yep, amazing. At least it's amazing to me that anything really ever works. Okay, now his tail comes around and goes under like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate all this into the tail. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I hope so. If not, all I'm doing is kind of combining the under parts and the over parts. I'm going to lay them back down. And then I'm going to take that glow-in-the-dark clay. Take some strips of that. And I'm just going to take and kind of fill in a little bit. Give it a little texture. Kind of make them look a little scaly. Because when this is all said and done, he's going to be patinaed. And it will all kind of blend. So that's what I did on that side. So let me go finish this and I will be back. Well, I think I've done as much as I can do on him before he's baked. And this is kind of what he looks like so far. You can kind of see his eye. Got a couple of little horns that I hope stay. There's his other eye. And he's got some beading and some like curly cues and feathery bits. So I'm going to go put him in the oven and bake him, and then I will bring him back. Thanks for watching so far. Hi, welcome back. It's out of the oven now. and looks pretty good. There's one eye, and there's the bead compartment under the wings. And that's what the bottom looks like. Okay, that's the bottom wing. And there's the bead that you can see through. I did wipe the top of it off with some alcohol before I put it in the oven. And there's the top. And here's the other eye and the face. That's the wing. You see some of the detail there. The only thing I didn't do that I kind of wish I did do is this bead has a channel that goes right through the middle of it. I am kind of wishing I'd taken some clay and gone across the top, but it doesn't really matter. And I could still do that, but I'm not feeling it right now. So I did make a snail while I waited for this to cool, and that's in the oven right now. So I may wait to take this off my camera until that snail's ready and then show both of them. But you can see the ribbon would still, would still thread through this hole. So it would make kind of a cute bookmark. It's a little bit bigger, not much, but a little bigger than these others. Might be about the same size as the teal one. Wings might be a little bit bigger, but it came out pretty good. Now what I did do on these is I did patina these with some brown paint. So these have all been patinaed, including this one. So I might do that with this one too. I'm not sure if I want to patina it with brown paint or, let's see, what did I do with it? Here it is. I've got burnt umber, or I also have this white Studio by Sculpey that I was thinking about doing, because then I also have an antique silver Pearl X powder that I was also thinking about putting on there. My problem is the silver's got some really nice sparkle, and some of the clay is glow in the dark, and I think if I put a patina on it, it's not going to glow in the dark. Not that that matters. It's not darker. I'd try to show you. Nah, you're not going to be able to see. I know. It's terrible because I get to this point and I don't want to do it because I don't want to wreck it. But I think maybe I'll try this white first in this ivory color and see if that works. I gotta just undo a couple of things. I want to take my marble down and just have my craft mat here, because I think I'm done with clay for today. And then, let's see, get a piece of deli paper and put that there. Pull my sleeves up, because everything's better with your sleeves up. And then I gotta get a brush. This one's probably good because it's a wreck. And get it wet. Because what you do want is you want kind of liquidy paint to do this. At least I do. I don't want it to go on too thick. And this stuff is very runny because it's actually Studio by Sculpey Antique and Glaze already. So it's kind of set up to already antique clay. I am going to add some more water to it. Get my brush out of the water and get my paper towels ready. Might put a little water on here too, just to get it all ready to run. Okay, here's just putting water on the clay. Because I don't want this paint to get too thick on any part of my dragon. Mix it around a little bit, make it nice and soupy, and it's always better with sound effects, isn't it? Oh dear. I'm going to try not to get too much on that bead in the middle. Don't want to do it all at one time because then it gets hard to wipe off. As I say that as I continue going on. Going on, going on. Some on the bottom here. Actually, it looks like I am just doing it on the whole thing, huh? And that's what I am doing. As long as the mood strikes, I might as well strike the mood. Okay. Put my brush back in the water. Put that down. Wipe my hands off a little bit. It's definitely got white paint on it. I see a part I missed. So let me just take this and just kind of move it all into there. A little more water going around. Okay, let's see what we got. Pick it up. Get a fresh sheet of deli paper. Move that off a little bit. Now I'm trying to be somewhat gentle wiping this off because I don't want any of the wing tendrils or the horns or anything to break off. Done that before. That's very frustrating. Try to wipe off around the eyes some so the eyes show. Okay. Kind of cool. You want to see? Okay. Oh. Some days you feel like doing this and other days you just don't. I'm kind of not sure about this. May have to go back over it with some brown. Might try hitting it with the antique silver first and see what happens with the white. If I don't like it, then I will go back over it with some brown. One nice thing about it being something you made yourself. You know, nobody has any expectation for it. It's just something I did, spur of the moment. So however it comes out is how it's supposed to come out. Okay, so there's what it looks like right now with the white antiquing. Move this out of the way and see if it, I'll put it down. And you can still see see if I have it pointing in the right direction. You can kind of see the eye. That one got a little lost, but there's that one. And that's the bead in the center. Okay, let's see. Onward and upward. Let's try a little of this. And for this, I need kind of a... Oh, I want a little bit of a poofy brush. I know I have them. That's the question. Oh, there it is, right there. A poofy brush. See, poofy. technical term. It's a proofy brush. And then I just, well, okay. I'm tapping it off. I put some on the brush and I'm just tapping it into the lid of the jar. And I'm just gonna go and put some on the head. And it has silver clay in it, so this antique silver powder won't look out of place, although the silver clay is the shiny new silver color, not antique silver, which is more of a gray. And I don't think this will stick onto the baked clay until I mean, it'll go down in the crevices, but it won't actually stick until I seal it with a glaze. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, let me put that down, put the lid on that before I have a disaster. And I will pick my paper towel up. And I'm going to wipe it some more because I don't really want it to be too silver, although it is fairly silver now. Okay. May have to take some more alcohol. Just rubbing alcohol. And wipe the bead off again. Oh no, that's kind of cool. And you can still see some of this silver sparkle down in the clay. Okay, it's kind of cool. Let's see, get some alcohol. It's right here behind me. Usually I have some cotton swabs to do this with, but I don't have any down here, and I'm not going to run upstairs to get some, so I just use my finger in the corner of this paper towel and get as much as I can, because I'll still be able to do this after I put the finish on if I want to. And get some of the clay residue and some of the paint and some of the Pearl-Ex back off. So it looks pretty good. And then I will just glaze this with some Sculpey glaze, and I will be back to show you what it looks like with the glaze on it, and I'll show you the snail that I made. Okay, well, I did this in white, as you remember, and then I used antique silver, and then I glazed it, and I didn't like it, so I went back back on with some burnt umber, watered down burnt umber paint, and I like it better now. Not sure if all the details. Okay, sorry for the interruption. My battery decided to die again. I had just put a new one in before I started earlier. It must have taken me longer than I thought. So anyway, this is what the dragon bookmark looks like. I like it. It came out pretty good for as much time as I spent on it. And that's what the bottom looks like. And I will show you my little snail. I took him out of the oven. Still a little warm. Here's his shell. I take the paper. I baked him separated by deli paper. And there's what the base of the snail looks like. I thought it would make a cute, like, little ring holder. But you can see he has little eyes and an antenna. That's what his other side looks like. His shell kind of, I probably should have stuffed tissue or something in there to hold it more open. But not too bad for first time. I think he looks cute. And I don't think I'm going to antique this one. I think I'm just going to glaze it. Just glaze it and let him be all sparkly and purple. My daughter's birthday is the 10th, so I think that this might be one of her birthday presents. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that look at my Polymer Clay bookmark. And thank you for watching. And until next time, have very colorful days.